All right, today is the day. I came in early on a Saturday morning. Don't come in early to work very often, much less a Saturday morning. But you'll see here in front of me is my old Nash. And you may see this car in this color for the last time because I have sanded. And I've sanded and I've sanded and I've filled and I've fixed little blemishes here and little blemishes there, and I think I'm done. And that's usually a time when I gotta say, let's just paint this thing. So last weekend we painted underneath the hood, the top of the cowl there, and inside the trunk, inside the doors. So we got all the jambs painted, and now I've got it down to 400 grit in a nice soft primer. But I've got to go back and I've got to cover up just with a detail gun some of these places that I burned through with sanding. I have block sanded this thing I don't know how many times, checked the door gaps I don't know how many times, taken sanding paper on a paint stick and sanded in the gaps there. It's just taken forever. The undersides of the doors look just as good as the top sides. I'm particular about that because whenever I put a car up on the rack, I like to see what the car looks like underside, and I just hate it when there's globs of Bondo and body flaws. So take one good, long, last look. This thing is going to look great in its new green shade, and we have extra parts here that have also been sanded and are waiting for another. I've got a little more sanding work on that headlight ring and tail light bezels and in the cowling there. So we're going to get some primer on those, a little bit of primer on the car, and we're going to start spraying. It's going to be quite the mess in here. I've got to get the car heated up to 70 degrees. It's currently 40 degrees and raining outside, so it's going to take a little while. All body materials like paint and primers are designed at 70 degrees. So one last look in the primer coat, and we're going to shoot it. So I hope you like the way it looks. I do. I'm pretty happy with it. Got to keep overspray off everything. Just painting in my normal greasy bay, but I got it cleaned up and masked off. Feel pretty confident that it's going to spray out okay. Okay, let's get to work. All right, I hope you can hear me. We are in part one. The Nash is now all in primer. You can see it's sort of shiny on the places I touched up. I was only trying to touch up the spots that were bare metal. So you may see that some of the car is shiny and some is not. And I don't know what's up, but there's like a spot right there. I gotta sand that out. I don't know what's up with that. But I want to show you how I turned my mechanic shop with my lift here into a paint booth. I cover up everything that's I'm afraid of getting overspray on. You can see in the background. And then I've got a big fan here that's blowing out. I've got my heat up there, which is my waste oil furnace, which is running. You can probably hear the fan on that. And then I have an exhaust fan out the door here. And you can see just by how this is moving, there's a lot of ventilation. I wear a mask. It is pouring rain today and 40 degrees. So I got to keep the air flowing and keep it warm. As I said earlier, automotive paint products only work at about 70 degrees. And I think I've got the car at about 68, something like that. So, all right, we're going to let this tack up. I'm going to sand it, and then we're going to go for color coat. Woo-wee. Okay, if you look close, you'll see my puppy dog, shop dog, Stella there, sitting. And right behind her, there's basically a green stripe of overspray coming out of the shop. And I've got overspray on my phone, too. I got to clean the screen. I hope you can see this. I think the camera is pointed down. I've got to watch my overspray. So we are looking at a freshly painted green Nash. It's toxic air in there. I'm letting the place vent out. It looks pretty good. However, I made some mistakes, and I'm going to go through those as soon as the compressor kicks off. In the meantime, we'll take a little commercial break. Stella, come here. Stella, come here. Hey. Come here. I'm right here. Who's your daddy? You too busy to get a pet? I'll put you on the head. That compressor's really loud, isn't it? and it's wet and rainy out today. Okay, it just kicked off. So the Nash is now green. It's kind of a pea green, I guess. Minty green, minty fresh, hash Nash. There's all kinds of names. You can get in trouble with this Nash and its color, but it looks pretty good. I painted it it's called Spectromaster Green from Nason. It's sort of a cheap paint. Paint is so expensive now. Gallon and a quarter. So gallon and a quart to paint what I've got so far. I've probably got a quart left, but it took a lot of paint. And now you got to mix paint 8-to-1, so it doesn't go as far. It looks pretty good. It's shiny. I use single stage, and I'm probably going to sand the single stage and then clear over the top. It's kind of a trick I like to do to get more depth out of the paint. Let's show you a couple things. Oh, one thing, totally I'm kicking myself now. If you look really close to the trunk lid, there's trash in the trunk lid. And I was like, why is there trash in the trunk lid? I forgot that the windshield's open and the rear window's open, and I've got air blowing through. You can hear the fans running, and it's picking up dirt inside the car, which I did not clean, and it got into my wet paint. So that's a bummer on me. I should have just masked that window. Wouldn't have had any problem at all. But we live and learn. The front of the car looks pretty good. The hood looks good. I had some trouble with that earlier. I had to sand it. The whole car actually looks pretty darn good for me being a weekend warrior painter. It came out all right. I have sanded this thing like crazy. It should look good, but I'm gonna end up sanding it again. There's another mistake here. I got carried away. I couldn't see, and there's a big run right through there. So I got to sand that off. That's an easy one to do. It's in an easy spot. So either sand it, buff it, or repaint it. So when I'm painting a car, I'll give you a trick. You see these light bulbs I got hanging behind my head? You can see them reflecting in the car. It's hard to see because your mask is on your face, and it's hard to see what you're doing, is what I'm saying. If you have a headlight on your head, you can use that, kind of like the light here in the camera. I don't know if you can see that. I'm moving it around. You need to see depth. If you don't have depth, you don't have enough paint on. So you keep painting until you can see the reflection of that really well. That way you don't get dry spots. There's a tip and trick for you. So we're going to let this dry. One thing is you need to give it lots of time to dry. You don't want to start flicking out bugs and sanding on it when it's still wet. But it's a nice color of the original willow green, although it's not willow green. It's called Spectromaster. It's the closest I could get. And I did it on the hood, the door jambs, the trunk, everything. And I can't wait to start putting what little chrome there is back on this car and start driving it around. I think I got to do a head gasket as well, but it looks so great. I'm really pleased. Thanks for watching, and I hope you take a nice deep breath of fresh air, because I can't right now, so I'm going to go outside and get a breath. Thanks for watching again, and supporting my channel, and we'll see you on the next video.